Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. Bringing in right now Ryan Gresham, who is the head of Gun Talk Media, the whole video, TV aspect of things, and now the shooting range and everything down in Louisiana. How you doing, partner?
I'm doing great. And I'm at the office here. I got to tell you a funny story to kick this off.
Sure.
I've got my month-old lab puppy, Kane, in the office.
Uh-huh.
And he's awesome. And he's laying in his little bed I got in the office, and then he just noticed the mule deer that's hanging on the wall. And he is freaked out. he's trying to protect me from this mule deer that's in our office. So if you hear a bark, he's not usually a barker, and that's why I thought this was fine. And then all of a sudden, he just noticed this mule deer, and he's kind of like flipping out.
This animal is sticking its head out of the wall.
Yeah. He's like, don't you see this?
That's funny. Now, how old is he now?
He's 6 months old now.
And looks like, from the videos I've seen, looks like he's doing really well with his training.
Oh, he's doing awesome. He's working on all his obedience stuff, and he's probably smarter than I am. But yeah, he's trying to figure out the world right now.
It's an awful lot of fun, boy. Puppies are great anyway, but I've just got a soft spot for lab puppies. You know, they're just, they're such cuddlers, and they want to be with you, and they want to touch you, and just, I love the whole aspect of it.
Yeah, it's great.
And the girls love them.
So what's going on? We've reached the end of the year here.
We have somehow reached the end of the year, and you've had a spectacular year in opening up the new headquarters, the building, the range, the range-ready studios, doing everything else. It's like this enormous leap of faith that you have taken. How's it going?
It's going well. We moved into our new facility, and instead of just moving offices, which basically what we had before was our offices and a small studio, we wanted a little bit bigger space, but we kind of went way bigger. Huh. And the big news for everybody listening, because it's like, who cares about your new office, Ryan?
Right.
The big news is we have a training facility here. So we've got a bit of here in Robert, Louisiana. And the place is called Range Ready, and the website's called Range Ready Studios. And we have, by the time everyone's hearing this, we'll have a bunch of new classes for 2023. And so maybe your New Year's resolution is to go take a training class and get a little bit more experience and trigger time.
Well, absolutely. It's one of those deals you go, okay, it's my late Christmas present to me, or even to someone else. And I got to say, one of the more fun things to do is go take a class with somebody, a spouse, a friend, a neighbor, a family member, and do it together instead of just going by yourself. I mean, I think it really increases the enjoyment.
Well, yeah, and especially if you're going with a spouse or a family member, I mean, they're kind of part of your team in your day-to-day life. So it'd be nice for them to have some knowledge about shooting and running a gun and all that stuff.
What kind of classes are we talking about here? Are they primarily self-defense stuff?
Well, I know that in February we're going to have an intro to reloading, tips and tricks and techniques of reloading.
Really?
And with Gavin Gear, yeah. He's going to be
cool.
coming down, and we're going to be doing pistol and rifle. And if you're either looking to get into reloading or get back into reloading, or simply just want to fine-tune what you're doing and work with some really experienced people who can help you kind of achieve what you're trying to get to with your reloading, we're going to be doing that in February. But yeah, we'll have pistol classes that are defensive pistol classes, rifle classes. We'll also be doing some FPD experience classes, our first-person defender show that we've been doing for, I guess, about 10 years now, where people always, when they see first-person defender, and I'll give just a little background if you're not familiar with the show, we basically put a good guy, just regular person, into a self-defense scenario using simunitions or force-on-force paintball type guns, and so you're really walking into a grocery store or a bank or getting into your car, and then something happens. Maybe it's a carjacking, and you're able to run through these real life, dangerous life and death scenarios in a safe way, and then train it and practice it and see how you can improve and react. And so that's the shift. And then we people asking us, how could I do this? I'd love to get this type of training. And, we only have 10 or 20 episodes a year we do. So now we're going, well, yeah, let's offer some classes that are multi-day and you can run through a lot of these scenarios. And honestly, it's a little bit less about shooting a gun and a lot more about thinking and tactics and how do you deal with the problem at hand.
Well, and what we found, 10 years of doing this, we end up seeing the same thing all the time. It's like everybody's problem is almost always the same problem, which is no matter how tuned up they thought they were, or sometimes they aren't, it's like they think, you hear the same things. I never thought of that. It happened so fast. Wow. It's like completely overwhelmed and unable to process. And even though we don't have a chance to do it over and over again with them, even just doing it like a second time after having a little talk with them when they do it the second scenario, it's like they suddenly are able to actually process information in the middle of the scenario and come up with solutions. And that's really what you're looking for.
Yeah, I think that things slow down for them a little bit because now you've been in that scenario. I mean, if you've never driven a car 100 miles an hour, it's pretty wild to do that. But if you drove a car at 100 miles an hour on a track and you get practice, it could be a little bit more comfortable for you. There's certain things that we've seen over the years and ways that people typically mess up in these scenarios. One of them being not understanding that when it's time to fight, when it's time to turn on the mean gene. And then there's the opposite side of that is people sometimes react too quickly because they think I'm on this show and I have this paintball gun and it's time to go around. Maybe sometimes the best thing to do is to wait for your opportunity, or maybe it's even to do nothing. Maybe that's what we'd actually like you to do. You have to look for, it's a thinking game.
Ryan, I was thinking about, maybe, guns for Christmas, anything that you may have received. And of course, now you're now at the point where you have children, you have a couple of girls, and obviously Parker at least has started hunting. And so you kind of start cycling all over and do it all over again.
Yeah, of course, as people might expect in the Gresham household, guns are usually under the tree. So, and one thing, when you mentioned that going into break, I was thinking about something that we probably didn't think about in the past when we talked about getting kids into shooting and gifts around Christmas time. But a silencer is such a game changer for someone being comfortable with shooting. And if you're trying to introduce someone into shooting, whether that's pistol or rifle, a silencer is a really good option.
I hadn't thought of that, but that's a great idea. I know that when you started Parker out on her hunting career, she started off with her 6.5 Creedmoor rifle, but equipped with a silencer. Yeah,
I put one of mine on there, and man, it reduces the noise, but it really helps with recoil. And in a hunting scenario, it can be really helpful with making follow-up shots, all kinds of things. In fact, KJ was up in Oklahoma a couple weeks ago, and he shot a hog because target of opportunity. A hog came through. He shot a hog, and that wasn't even part of the story. He was just telling me how he shot this deer, and he goes, "Yeah, I shot this hog," and then not just a few minutes later, this deer showed up. And normally you think, well, I don't want to shoot the hog. I'm going to ruin my hunt, mess up the deer hunt. And deer showed up a few minutes later, and when he told me that, I knew he was hunting with a silencer. I said, well, there you go. Another reason for silencers. And he's like, oh, yeah. I hadn't even thought about that. But, yeah, absolutely.
And of course, I think KJ's hunting with a silencer all the time now. So he's almost like he just assumes that and forgets what it was like when he wasn't using a silencer.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're doing so. There's they're making it easy to get them now. I mean, the process is easier. You have Silencer Central, you have Silencer Shop. It's just becoming a lot easier, and the silencers are becoming better and lighter. So
Well,
it's
and
not
lighter.
this
Yeah.
big thing on the end of your gun.
Yeah, it's not a huge wart out there. It's actually, and they got all these titanium silencers. What a great idea. And I got to tell you, if you want to start out a youngster shooting, a semi-automatic pistol with a silencer and a red dot, it's like money.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, that's something I hadn't thought of. It wasn't in our world in the past, but,
Right.
I think it's something to consider. Obviously, there's some planning involved in that because the process
Right.
still will take several, 3 to 6 to 9 months, depending on what the heck the ATF decides to do this week. But, that's an idea.
Right, exactly. I loved it. Chris Ellis earlier, he said one of the big gifts that he got as a youngster was a brick of 22 ammo. And I thought, that's brilliant. I love that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no excuses. Just go get some trigger time.
Yes. No, I like that. No excuses. You got lots of ammo. And, 2-3 years ago, it was hard to find 22 ammo. Now it's everywhere, and it's pretty darn inexpensive. And anybody that's not buying it is not thinking ahead.
Yeah, and also if you think about giving gifts, and especially kids, youngsters, I've always said that there's a time and a place to get good at something, and I think that one of those times and places is sort of that junior high through high school age, because you have time in your life at that point. It's hard to really good at playing the piano when you're 38 years old and have 3 kids who are in soccer practice. You don't really have that kind of time. But and I say that goes for shooting as well, right? So I know that for me, I got a lot of trigger time when I was younger, even with just BB guns and pellet guns.
Yes.
And that's still paid off to this day of being comfortable with shooting offhand in different positions and getting quickly on a target. And also, you're learning how to play drums because, you play drums when no one else is home before everybody else gets home from work.
Well, you are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, third generation drummer, and I guess Parker's fourth generation drummer. You can't keep it out of it. It's like we drive everybody else crazy. They think we're tapping. They don't understand we're actually playing like we're part of a song out there. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm not messing around. I'm actually in the middle of a song here.
Yeah, why are you interrupting me? I know you think I'm tapping, but I'm actually playing over here. Exactly right.
Yeah.
So, tell you what, I'm going to carry you through the last segment here, so we're about up on that one. You might just give the website for people that are interested in maybe taking a class with your new range.
Absolutely. The website is rangereadystudios.com. What a better thing to do, just kick off your year, sign up for a class, plan it out, and make yourself better.
Thinking back, any particular guns that you remember getting for Christmas or gift occasions?
Well, yeah, a couple stand out. I mean, I got the Ruger 30-06 that I used to kill a mule deer and an elk with. The Smith & Wesson, I believe it was a 686, 357,
yep,
which was, I think it was actually a college graduation gift.
I think it was.
And a Beretta over and under, which was great.
It's funny, we were talking about that Ruger Model 77 you had, the 30-06. Talking with Chris Ellis about hunting in bad weather, and I was describing that shot you made on that mule deer when the rain and the sleet were going sideways and you couldn't feel your fingers anymore. And that was memorable.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of those things that you got to practice shots all the time to be comfortable with your rifle. I mean, I dry fired that rifle hundreds and hundreds of times, just getting comfortable with it. But the Beretta, I do have a story about that one because it was a real pretty over and under 12 gauge, and comes in the little case, breakdown case. It's all fancy. Mm-hmm. And I went out to this range that wasn't really a shotgun range. It was just a kind of a county pistol and rifle range, 100-yard kind of deal. But they did have one trap that if you brought your own clays and paid $20, you could throw some clays and shoot them.
Okay.
So I wanted to shoot this gun, and so I go out there. I set up for I tell the guy I want to shoot some clays. I brought my own box of clays, and I brought out this Beretta in this breakdown case, and I opened it up. He goes, "What you got in there?" I open it up. He goes, "Man, with a gun like that, you better shoot good." I felt like the pressure was on.
That's a great story. So with a gun like that, you better shoot good. Don't be missing with a gun like that because we know it's not the gun.
Gun's too fancy.
Exactly right. Oh man. Well, I know that. I mean, like I said, this is airing on Christmas Day, so you guys you've opened your presents, done all that thing. I appreciate you spending some time here, and I'm actually, as we're talking right now, I'm going to be down there taking one of these classes at Range Ready, the range there, because I mean, it's a fabulous facility. It's more than a shooting range. It is a destination at this point.
Yeah, I really hope people will give a look to rangereadystudios.com, look at our class schedule. We're hoping we'll have everything through the first half of the year posted, and then we'll kind of look at the schedule and put some more things in the second half of 23. Also, there's still time. I know it's Christmas, but there's still time to the end of this month. Well, you have a giveaway going on. It's our Holiday Hunter giveaway, and this prize package is awesome.
Yeah.
You have, the three companies involved: Bushnell, Silencer Central, and Smith & Wesson. And the winner, one lucky winner takes all. You're going to get a Smith & Wesson MT Volunteer XV Pro rifle chambered in 6mm arc, which is a new caliber that's just hot right now.
Right.
You're going to get a Silencer Central backcountry suppressor, which is their lightweight suppressor. And then a big prize pack from Bushnell: scope, rings, GPS, binos, all this kind of stuff. And you just have to go to guntalk.com/win.
There you go. Ryan, thanks for joining me here, and a big old Merry Christmas to you and the family.